the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up!
Well, hello everybody and welcome to a revamped CorbinCenter. I feel like I can utilize this really well. Now, first of all, I'll be the first to admit, obviously if you're a Patreon, that you've seen CorbinCenters and you understand like exactly what I do. I break down every shows, generally love to do it, have more of an interaction with my consultant on here who will make an appearance. But I like to do those as more of a recap and get an idea, kind of looking at my weekend with the wrestling events and kind of getting an in-depth look. I love to do that for Patreons, but I also figured that this is a great format. I've done it for promos, for hype videos. I've done it now for Madden, which was fun, but did not end up really going the way that I wanted as far as attention. And I understand that. I get that. I'm a pro wrestler who's playing a PlayStation 2 game that is based on kind of a world that I've created. It was niche before to go Madden 06. But now it is 100%, I made it even more niche market. So for those of you who follow on Twitter, I really appreciate it. By the way, let's throw the Twitter handle up there and let's throw Darren Corbin up there. Thank you. We'll do that. But first, I always want to do this for every episode of CorbinCenter. Each and every time, hopefully every episode, I would love to do a special shout out to somebody. And Michael, you are my shout out here. You are going to be the person I want to recognize. You have commented on numerous videos. You always are there to watch my videos and give me like insight on them. You've been commenting on Snapchats, on the trivia stuff. I really appreciate the support. I appreciate you watching. So I want to say a big shout out to you and kind of give you an idea. Now, the big topic on this week that I want to kind of go into is first and foremost would be my return from injury. Now, I've been doing video journals on my Patreon talking about all my comeback stuff, and I had an interesting little take on this because I like still to keep that element of intrigue, that element of surprise, and I do drop hints and I think it's amusing. But here's the biggest thing. I need to make something very, very clear, I feel, is that my shoulder, it was not something where I was going to get cleared. That's 100% a deal. So you might be sitting there at home going, so you're not cleared and you're wrestling. That's stupid. That's whatever. No, the healthcare system is stupid. 100%. When I found out that they wanted 30 grand for what I consider an injury that's going to heal. Remember, I broke this collarbone. So this clavicle, in my opinion, was going to heal. And they said 3 to 4 months, and they couldn't give me any guarantees, and then wanted $30,000. I'm not going to spend the next however many years paying off a surgery that may or may become irritated. Not going to do it. So I stopped going. Also, as a result, just so you know, I do have actually set healthcare now. As of the 1st, I had a healthcare plan that I was working for. This one's a little bit more set, a little bit more universal, and Health Partners seems to be a little bit better. I'm not going to talk about all this stuff, not going to go too much in depth, but here's what I really want to bring up. There's a point that I want to drive home. There were a couple people that knew or had an idea, but here's a couple things that really went into my decision. Now, first, how was I feeling? How was I going to do? But wrestling is different. Now, when I went to Columbus, I did some things. When I went to Destination Pro, I got in the ring and bumped. I did some stuff before the show. So it was not exactly like somebody didn't say you are good to go for WrestlePalooza. No one ever said that. That was a decision that I made. But here's the other thing that I want to keep in mind for you, and here's something that I want you to know. I only told a few people, and there was actually one particular, I only got one negative response other than the WrestlePalooza faithful. But I got only one negative response. Somebody who felt like, took it upon themselves to feel hurt by the fact that I didn't go out of my way to tell them that I was going to come back. And also, this person was trying to ask me for seats to WrestlePalooza way back when. And so, like, the deal is there's no seats there. So if you're going to message me to ask me for this, and at the time, I was not even thinking that I would be back in the saddle for being able to wrestle. And so you wanted me to go back in time and have an idea of when I was going to wrestle, and now you're upset at it, and you think that you want to blame me for my injury. So I just want you to be one thing really clear here. I don't need that kind of energy around me. So like that's the big thing. If you're upset that you didn't know insider information about when I was going to come back when a lot of it was up in the air, first of all, the match itself, we didn't know. Am I going to participate? How much am I going to do? The only thing that I knew is, yes, I was going to be there. I was not going to miss the 10th anniversary, but was I going to wrestle? And I'll be 100% on this one. It came together at the end. I felt way better at the end, way more confident. So I'm sorry that I didn't message people. I didn't even message certain family members for them to know. So if you think that you're going to stand out over that and that you feel that I owe you anything, don't be my fan. That's the biggest thing. That's one thing that really irritated me out of this whole thing. I don't care. Like, you can enjoy what I do in the ring, you can do whatever, and also, ultimately, I'm hurt for 3 months, and you're mad because you didn't know my comeback? Where were you when I was hurt the whole time? Sorry, I digress. That was kind of my big thing though, but I felt amazing. It was great to talk to many of the people at WrestlePalooza, and it was great to see everybody. A lot of people said, welcome back. Let's focus on this. A lot of people said, welcome back. A lot of people said that they were very happy to see me. I was super stoked to be able to be in that, and you can tell by a lot of the photos that I could not contain. I mean, the smile that I had on my face, you could see all this stuff. I mean, like, you could see how much it meant to me. Like, that was the biggest thing. Being back in the ring, I truly love wrestling. I truly enjoy it. And I think that's why, on one hand, it upset me so much, but I think that's why it brought me such great joy to know that so many people were happy to see me back. So if I took a photo with you, gave you a hug, said hi, you booed me with a smile on your face, you flipped me off with a smile on your face, thank you so much. Can't thank you enough. It's so good to be back, and it's also, one thing I didn't realize, how great it is to be able to put things on the schedule again, which I'm going to talk about my upcoming schedule here at the end, just to kind of touch base and let you know where I'm going to be. But first and foremost, also too, as you know, we're doing this thing on YouTube, and I have this interesting thing, like, I used to focus on YouTube a lot, I used to kind of do this, and now I'm kind of going back to it because I want to give more content, I want to put out more content. I look like it was a video journal. I feel I can do more stuff this way, and I feel like I can really kind of give you a little insight. If you want more insight, you're definitely going to want to go to Patreon. That's the biggest thing. That's where you'll get a little bit more of individual insight as I post something every day, recap the events, announcements, so on and so forth. But this one, it's interesting. I think I'm in a kind of a showdown here. And I think my showdown is, am I going to get 1,100 subscribers on YouTube? Or am I going to hit 700 videos? Which one do you think is going to come first? Because I don't know. I've been stuck at this for a long time. I've been over 1,000 subscribers for a long time, and now I'm trying to just see if I can kind of piece these together. But hopefully we get to that stage. Now, here's something else that I've seen and I've noticed over pro wrestling, and it just constantly rears its ugly head all the time. And I kind of wanted to do this in a sense. So you know my take on pro wrestling journalists, and you know what I think of pro wrestling journalists. First of all, many of them are can't write worth a shit. Let's go with that. Many of them would flunk out of a college class and think that because they've watched wrestling for so long that whatever their opinion is qualified. And I remember back when Brody Lee passed away, like reading documents on how people feel they're entitled and privy to information while writing horrible, just horribly organized, like you couldn't even put together a simple paper that would be accepted at a high school level, and you think that that qualifies you to be a journalist. And then a lot of people who do a lot of clickbait, putting out these things that would just almost seems like for clout and disgusting nature. And also in the recent passing with like Jay Briscoe, I was not one where I knew Jay. I never crossed paths with Jay. I was a fan, obviously, of like the Briscoe Brothers tag team, and I always heard from everybody who knew him a lot of positive things. And so a lot of people always had it in the outpouring now. But I'm not one to feel like I need to jump on for clout. I don't have that interaction with him. Whereas when my friend Jason Strife passed away, I do have a lot of memories with Jason, and that's why I posted. And I always feel like it's really a tough thing for me to do, is to post something and kind of, you know, like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? And I do like to share memories when it happens. But I feel like a lot of the dirt sheets and a lot of that stuff really do just a horrible job utilizing lack thereof information for clickbait. And I want to prove how bad it actually is. And so I do want to do a segment on CorbinCenters where, first of all, one of the most misinformed people on the wrestling scene, the only thing that's really his connection is me. And that would be my consultant. And so honestly, like what I basically do is I just kind of feed him loose information on what he sees that comes through my Twitter, and he pieces it together and kind of does these segments. So I was like, hey man, what do you think about this? And he just kind of looks through social media and tries to do it without, and he doesn't read anything. And I wanted to see what he would come up with because I wanted to prove a point that many wrestling journalists are so misinformed, so poorly qualified, where a lot of my friends who are actually journalists and very good at it, qualified, very highly qualified, get a bad rap even when they write about wrestling. But of course they write about it in such a positive way that they're not doing it for likes. So in this case, I'm trying to show you just how easy it is to be one of these pathetic journalists that just write stuff for clout and can't really hold a candle to anybody who's actually a knowledgeable writer or reporter. So what I did is I threw a article at my consultant and I had him rally this off and take a look at what he came up with based on what I fed him on this information.
Big news coming out of Stanford today as Vince McMahon is getting sued by the fire department so he doesn't get bought or is able to sell to Disney because the fire department hates the mouse. And the biggest thing is they want to keep everything safe. And a lot of the pyro that WWE does is actually a huge fire hazard. So the biggest thing is if they were to sell to a place like Disneyland that has constant fireworks and everything, then there's a good chance, like a really good chance, that Vince McMahon could potentially injure some other wrestlers. Like that one time, Kane came in and lit Jim Ross on fire. That was creepy. Could be the biggest Inferno match in history, but that's why they were trying to sell to the Saudis, because the Saudis were like, let's go get this company that comes over here once and twice a year, and then they think that Yokozuna's still alive. So big things are coming, and people want to sue Vince McMahon, and he's given hush money to a lot of people because he's been having the sex and trying to keep people quiet so that they don't find out. But honestly, if you ever watched him in Trish Stratus and Tori, you kind of saw this coming. And I think the fire department, they're stand-up guys that win the softball tournament every year, so they don't want him to be doing any more business. But that's just what my sources say. That's what I've heard. So so stay tuned.
Like I said, absolutely ridiculous. I don't even know how much of that's true, but whatever he did, he just ran with it. I mean, it sounds funny, it sounds great, but yeah. So anyway, let's wrap things up with a little bit of a story on where I'm going to be. Let's talk about my upcoming schedule that I have, the things that I have posted on my fan page that you can see. First of all, I will be heading to Mondo Lucha this weekend, going back to Milwaukee at the Cooperage. Going to be doing that. And then I wrestle in a first-time ever matchup, Matt Honey, at Pro Wrestling Battleground. So I have that. Following week, I'm off. I'm heading to Washington, D.C. The next weekend, currently open as well. Looking to get that schedule kind of back in. We'll see. You never know. Something might happen. I have an event that I haven't been able to announce yet. That is coming up. Old Stomping Grounds. Going to be familiar. And then I return to the Level Up convention. I headed back to one of my favorite places, Las Vegas. And I got to thank Versus Pro, and this is going to be a fun event, one that I've done a handful of times already, but I'm looking forward to coming back out 3 days at the Level Up convention, and I get to spend some time in Vegas. So that is what I have coming up in my immediate future on my schedule. Stay tuned for more CorbinCenter, looking to do this as a more regular thing. If you have any comments, suggest what you have below. And again, would love to hear your input and love to hear what you think about some of the topics that I covered today. So, thank you for watching, and back to your regular scheduled program.
Don't be scared.